This is a blog for Tuesday the 11th of November, Peter Pan rehearsals. In the morning session we had Cindy and just the dancers went over Hollaback Girl, and we changed quite a lot of the positionings and when we do certain bits of choreography. So we keep into a formation, the original formation of a triangle. We keep into that a lot more now because it looks tighter and cleaner and more confined, and when we're all in a formation it looks better because like we're not all, the audience isn't looking to one side of the stage then to the other because people are doing different things. And we focused on focus points and like colouring and flavouring movements. So there's a section in unison where we used to do it all in unison, it was to the chorus, but now Cindy has changed it so that Jess goes first, does a small section, then me and Amy join in, then the others join in, etc, etc, and it looks a lot cleaner and better because some people were struggling with some bits. So doing this, it's enabled people to not do as much, so then they're not panicking as much, which is good. We went over the bongo song as well, and I feel like I've made progress with this because I fully attacked it and I actually felt something for the song for the first time, and I actually enjoyed doing the choreography. There's a knee drop in it, and I managed to do that, so I was really pleased with that. And we basically just went over tidying up and catching people up because Katie wasn't in, so I taught Katie what she'd missed, because me and Hannah are dance captains, so our roles are to know the choreography inside and out, and if anyone needs help they ask us. My strengths of the session were refining movement and fully committing. My weakness was that I made a few mistakes in Hollaback Girl and my facial expressions aren't as good as they should be because you've got to be quite facially expressionate in Hollaback Girl, so I'm really struggling with this. And then we went on to panto rehearsals with the actors. Our aims were to recap previous choreography and blocking, to take part in a physical warm-up, and to have created more routines and completed scenes 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so I started the warm-up, which was a game that I'd adapted to Peter Pan, and it was called Pirate Ship. Pirate Ship is basically like Simon Says. So I would shout something and the participants would respond to it by doing whatever I asked them to do. So if I'd shouted Peter Pan, they had to run around like Superman, and when they passed someone they had to make a meow noise. So this was enable them to get into a character and use their vocals and use their imagination and be a little bit silly and not care and have some fun. The other movement was if I shouted Indians, they would run around the room doing this. Again, that's using your imagination and your vocals, so it's warming up the vocals and they were running around and warming up the bodies. If I'd shouted climb the riggings, they would need to climb the riggings, so they'd need to jump with high knees and act as if they're climbing up the riggings. I also said if I shouted crocodile, they'd need to pretend that their hands were a crocodile's mouth, coming together and make the noise of a clock, so the ticking noise, because that's what the crocodile does in Peter Pan. If I said Neverland, they would have to run over to one side of the room, and if I shouted Second Star, they'd have to run to the other side of the room. I got really positive feedback. People told me that it helped them to warm up, it helped them to get physical in the mindset of Peter Pan and the panto, because the game was quite silly and allowed them to have fun. They got into the right mindset for panto because panto is funny, silly, energetic, and they were using the characters. So I'm really pleased with my warm-up, which there'll be a link to underneath and you'll see what I mean. Hannah's warm-up was Splat game. I do like playing Splat because it's just funny. Hannah's game had characteristics of improvisation because she'd be asking a question you wouldn't know, so you'd need to improvise on the spot and think quite quickly, which is what panto is, it's improvisation. The game made me alert and ready to answer, to think fast for quick responses, which is to act and react. So if someone does something different on stage, you need to act and react in the moment to them. And it also warmed up my vocals as I was shouting answers. My strengths of the warm-up were fully participated with them and put energy into it. I was focused and tried to get in the right mindset for Panto, so I was able to answer the questions. My weakness was I panicked in the splat game and got caught out. My target is to think more on the spot and remain calmer. And then we went on to the actual we did the energy runs, which was to build up our energy because Panto requires a lot of energy. And then we went on to the rehearsals. We ran from the top, so we ran from Scott and Beth's fight scene with the screen. So they did that, and we noticed, because we've not ran it from the top before, that the screen got in the way of our choreography, so we don't know if that screen is going to be like that during the performance. So if it is, we're going to need to adapt our choreographies as people stage left got a little bit squashed with this screen, so we're going to need to look at that if the screen is staying there. So we went on to the bongo song, which I am enjoying more and more doing now, and I'm getting more into character. When I'm performing the choreography, I'm thinking that I'm at war and I've got spears and bow and arrows and all this, and putting some aggression into it and making myself angry before I go on stage, because then I'm putting that aggression into the dance movements. It's a very physical performance, the bongo dance, so it needs that energy and aggression with it. We then went straight onto Apache. We ran that and Apache was fine. I've got no problems with Apache now. We just need to fill in Shanley's section, and it's fine. I made no mistakes on it. I'm performing more each time and treating it as if it's a proper show, so it's enabling me to push myself more in each time. But then we ran it again with Jack as Tiger Lily in it, as we've not done this before. It was quite funny having Jack perform with us finally, and it was really nice to see what he was doing and getting into character and everything, because obviously if there's another person on stage, we're going to feed off their energy too. And I noticed when Jack was in it, I made my facial expressions more funnier when they're meant to be, because Jack was just giving off this funny energy. And then from the Apache is the acting scene, which I keep forgetting my blocking, so I need to remember this more, and go over my blocking and put it in my Panto script, which I've got now, and I've started to fill in, so that's good. During the acting scenes, the actors need encouragement with the audience, so even when the dancers are on stage, we need to encourage the audience to participate in audience interaction. Otherwise, they might not get the gist of it and might actually not end up interacting with us, so we don't really want one of the characters to call to the audience and have a quiet audience, so we need to really bump up our energy. We went through Hollaback Girl, and I completely forgot the changes that we made in the morning before. I made a mistake. Apart from that, it was okay. I need to really rehearse that, because I'm struggling with Hollaback Girl with facial expressions, and because it's so difficult. And we exit stage right, which Neverland is. So stage right is Neverland and stage left is London. And then we created a new choreography, which was Welcome to the Jungle, which is for scene... it's for scene 5, and Welcome to the Jungle is another energy-filled song with a lot of headbanging, and it's like a rock chick. I really enjoy this because I know how to get into a rock chick mode, because I quite like listening to all that sort of music. So I found this quite easy to do. And there'll be a video of Welcome to the Jungle One of the movements, because I'm a principal dancer, I'm at the front and we've got slightly different choreography. I'm really struggling with some of the choreography and I need to up my game a bit because the other principal dancers seem to fine with it, but I'm struggling a little bit with it. So I need to practice the material that I don't know to be able to blend in with the other principal dancers and not stand out. And then we went into an acting scene after Welcome to the Jungle, and we actually interact with other actors on stage at this point, which is really nice. So we interact with like Michael and John. We don't say anything, but we're talking to them on stage, but talking quietly so the audience can't hear us and they can hear the main characters. And it's really nice because we're getting to interact with other characters, being in different characters. It's really nice. Yeah. My strengths of the rehearsals were I remembered some changes in choreography. I remembered choreography. I remembered that I needed to perform. I picked up Welcome to the Jungle routine as we only had 20 minutes to pick it up. My weakness was I found it hard to remember all the changes we'd made in the rehearsal before, and also I'm struggling with some movements because they're just that fast, the routines, but with more practice I'll be able to pick them up easily. My target is to rehearse all choreography so that I can improve my technique and my clarity of movement. Another target is to fill in the whole blocking of my panto script so that I know exactly what I'm doing, when I'm doing, and where I'm doing it. And that concludes this blog.